Hello and welcome to the full FX Unfiltered. This edition is in association with 360T. My name is Colin Lambert, I'm publisher of the full FX, and I'm delighted to be joined by Kate Massey, who is Head of Market Data Strategy at 360T. Kate, lovely to see you again.
Thank you, Colin.
Market data, where do you start? I mean, it's quite a big subject. Maybe we'll start with a high level look at what trends you're seeing in market data at 360T.
Well, swap is an evolving space, as we know. So we've certainly seen some trends there. I think, firstly, the types of clients that are engaging us about data and actually the way that they're using the data is just further expanding. Mm-hmm. I think data quality is more important than ever. And also automation is in strong demand. So, I think whilst, adoption for electronic swaps is considered to be slower, we can see there is demand for more efficiency and more transparency. We can see those advances within EMS, within algos and the way that people are trading. And, certainly at 360T, we think that our data has been, an important part of those advancements. Certainly within our own products and what we created with Digitech all those many moons ago with the swaps data feed, as I said, has played a prominent part with some of the things that we're producing. So, Sun, for example, the swaps order book, the SDF is the central tenet within that. It is the mid-price. And as well with the EMS, we've had a lot of growing adoption and client demand around swaps workflow, specifically automation of which again is made possible by swaps data. Mm.
And I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, and I think we can get through it. We'll probably go through it bit by bit. I'll maybe start with the work you've been doing on market data and lessons you've learned from that, because as you say, you've been working for a long while from those early days with Digitech and whatever on the swaps data feed. As you've been going through that evolution, have you learned any lessons that have helped you maybe change the direction, or nuance your approach?
Yeah, I think we certainly notice with SDF that, all our clients and our contributors, everyone's on this journey, right? On this swaps journey, and everyone's at different stages, and some are more sophisticated than others. And what we learnt was that actually appetite for more advanced insights into the swaps is what we were doing isn't really there, for the majority at least. And this was about the SDF Plus piece, which you and I were speaking about a couple of years ago. So SDF Plus was, I guess, the next chapter in the SDF storybook. And it was about giving more insights into the data feed and specifically around the distribution of pricing from the contributors. And it was really using some, I guess, kind of advanced maths and some these higher moments to kind of tell that story. Ultimately it was kind of too sophisticated. It was very difficult for people to digest, and we decided to park it for that time. I mean, it's dead, but probably not buried, I would say.
I mean, ultimately, good ideas are still good ideas.
Yeah.
It's just at some stage you need the industry coming at an advanced enough level.
Exactly.
For it to actually work.
And we're good with that, right? I mean, we are here trying to listen to clients in advance in the space, and you don't necessarily get it right first time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's largely what's kind of good about the SDF and what we're doing there. We are producing quite a lot of quantitative analysis that we're giving back to our clients and our contributors. And that's a really important component, and the Deutsche Börse and the quantitative team, the technical team at Digitech are really, crucial to that that analysis as well.
So, I mean, you mentioned there a couple of times about, and earlier on about clients using data. I mean, has that evolved with you? As you've been on this experimental path at times, with the core path set in stone, but has how your clients are using data, is that evolving with you?
Yes, yeah, most definitely. I think whether you're a hedge fund, whether you're, an asset manager, whether you're a bank, whether you're trading swaps, whether you're managing risk, data is an important conversation for our clients. And depending on the level of sophistication, as I said, we're really seeing some of those clients ramp up their interest in the way that they are engaging with the data as well. So, historically, banks still form, a large group of our client base, right, on the data.
Exchange market.
Yeah. But it's not necessarily just the big sell side guys that have a need for for quality swaps data now. We are speaking to the smaller players as well, the more regional guys, and ultimately they're using their data within their market making capabilities, right? So either it's a source within their price construction, or they're using it to give themselves confidence in their own outbound pricing. It's great to see that it's not just the front office that are using the data, but it's also, market surveillance, it's the middle office, it's the back office as well. So that's just kind of getting more entrenched within the banks, which is great.
And that's become a much bigger thing, hasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. But the buy side is an interesting space for us. I think the price discovery aspect, the performance benchmarking, the TCA, I think they're all fairly well understood use cases for like pre and post trade. But I think what is probably underappreciated is how some of the more sophisticated of those clients are finding use of the data. So, no-touch trading or automated trading wasn't an option for a really long time because the data wasn't very good.
Yes.
And so without a good reference point, it's a non-starter, isn't it? So what we did is we put SDF within the EMS as kind of this rate checking capability. Okay. So it means as a trader, you can set your tolerance to the SDF. So you can be confident that it's, a market price. You can trade, you're executing, you're booking all into your systems, straight through with no issues, of only, I guess, dealer intervention in certain circumstances when there's exceptions. Yeah. And we've got some very large clients that are executing a lot of their swaps this way. Yeah. So that's one thing. But we've also seen a huge amount of growth in the hedge fund space since we last spoke as well. So that's a really interesting area for us. And again, there's that price discovery aspect. There's the curve creation. There's positioning. There's the market monitoring. But actually, quantitatively, a lot of these funds are utilising the data to generate alpha and produce trading opportunities, particularly, signalling and trend information, or back testing and generating signals. So, as I said, growth there in both the real time, but also historical data, which is interesting.
Like for the modelling, for instance.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
It sounds very familiar to me until we put the word swaps into that conversation. Are we on a similar evolution to what we saw in spot all those years ago, where the data begets more volume, begets better data? Do you see a similar trajectory?
I think there's a chicken and egg scenario, to a degree, isn't there? Look, better data, more quality data, I guess that's more transparency, right? More granularity, more transparency. Yeah. It's tighter spreads, it's faster, it's more accessible to all. So, naturally all of those things are going to have an impact, right, on the way people are trading swaps. Yeah. We saw it all with spot. Yeah. It levelled the playing field to a degree, didn't it? Although, granted, there are some differences. Yeah.
It is interesting because obviously, we all look at that e-swaps space and go, okay, well, it's growing, but how quickly is it going? It has a feel to me of something that could end up going, like nice steady curve, bang, a lot higher very quickly.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. Is the data, there's more and more data being produced. Are we also then going to have the same issue with how do you deal with quantity versus quality? There's a lot of data out there, and some of it might be rubbish.
Yeah, there is. I do think you probably get what you pay for. I think there's that whole garbage in, garbage out mentality. I think quality data is foundational.
Yes.
To be honest, but of course, how do you define what quality data is? I think there's a few things there. I think first it's source and its independence. I think obviously it's accuracy, and it's also the historic depth, I would say, as well. Yeah. And, not to be overly promotional, but of course the swaps data feed has got that kind of all wrapped up quite nicely.
There's definitely, when you come to things like market data, especially historical, there is first mover advantage. There has to be, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. And we've now got 6 years worth of tick data available.
It's a lot of data.
It is a lot of data.
So finally, Kate, just like to get a feel for what you see as being the broader trends that are now emerging and are coming through now, and kind of what 360T is working on to evolve your product.
Yeah, I think more generally, the data just continues to get better. I think it continues to be in demand, and that quality data and some of those insights that we were talking to around swaps data will just be the norm for a lot of participants in that space. I think that we will continue to see the growth in that automation space, and with the CLOBs, the central limit order books, we can already see that happening with Sun. Yeah. So that's a really exciting space to kind of be a part of. On the 360T side, there's a lot going on with swaps. Data not to be left out. We actually produced a new white paper at the beginning of this year for the SDF, which included some new improvements that we made specifically to the date roll procedure, which has been really well received. Yeah. We've also got a new functionality coming out in the next few months, which is called a confidence flag.
Which would do what?
So the confidence flag will give information to our clients when there is a high degree of variance from the bank contributors. So in that case, you might want to treat that price with maybe some more caution. So super additive info. So that's coming up. We also want to look to add some frontier currencies and some onshore pairs as well. Lots of client demand, but I mean, with this, you've got to be you've got to move with the market, right, and what the capabilities are for streaming in those
and you're
in
back in
those
that chicken
pairs.
and egg situation, aren't you?
Exactly. So not straight away, but it's something that we're certainly working on. And lastly, we've got some good stuff going on the spot side. We actually completely revamped our spot data feed last year. New methodology around how we create that composite. So it's better and it's faster. We've had some great feedback on that. And actually, we're working on a couple of new things on the spot side. So more to come on that in the coming months.
Always good to end with a little teaser out there, isn't it? Yeah. As always, Kate, great to talk to you. Thanks for your time today. And hopefully we could do this again soon. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll be back with a new Unfiltered very soon.